As an aspiring immigrant, I have absolutely no opinion on what's happened this week in America. However, luckily, something much more exciting is happening in Nepal. Let's check out these Gen Z-led protests that have ended up with a new leader of a country being elected via Discord by the Gen Z revolutionaries. That's how you really should be using Discord. Everyone in America is just using Discord to set up gooning servers and become trans or you know what? As an aspiring immigrant, we're going to move on from this area of American Discord usage and focus on Nepal. To clarify, I think that all killing is bad. Over the last 5 to 7 days in Nepal, a revolution led by Gen Z protesters has actually overthrown the government, and it all started it all ignited because of a social media ban. Why was social media banned? Well, because Gen Z users on social media in Nepal started to realize that for some reason, every single child of a politician in Nepal from pretty much every single major party seemed to be living it up abroad and was incredibly rich, flexing their watches and their designer clothes, while 1 in 4 people in Nepal, especially those who are younger, are living below the poverty line, and almost a majority of young people are completely unemployed. So rightfully so, a lot of Gen Z kids who can just follow the politician's daughter on Instagram and see that she's living it up on a yacht in Europe are starting to ask some questions. And they started to ask those questions by just posting photos of politicians and their kids and adding up how much their expensive designer bags were and their expensive designer watches were, their holidays, their cars, and started to ask the question, how come your child can afford this on your salary when apparently our government can't even afford roads, infrastructure, or to stimulate an economy that can support actual young people who don't happen to be lucky enough to be related to a politician?
The most common memes spreading political messaging were contrasting the luxurious wealth of politicians and their families and the intense poverty faced by citizens.
This is one thing that I've never really understood about political corruption and billionaire elites deciding to use their influence and power to make the country worse. It doesn't matter how much money you have and how much money you spend to insulate yourself from regular people, you still have to live in the country that you are exploiting and destroying, and you can only do that so much before you don't have enough money to insulate yourself from the consequences of that. That's like, why would you want to be a corrupt billionaire in India if you got to breathe the same air as the peasants? You know, you're also going to die of lung cancer. You just get to live in a pool before you drown in your own mucus. It's not a good idea. It's not a good long-term solution is what I'm saying. And the protesters agreed. Before the social media ban, if you were a Nepalese person, you could not go through a single scroll without seeing some sort of meme or video that points out the obtuse, disgusting wealth disparity, especially the wealth disparity between politicians and their children and the average Nepalese voter, the average Nepalese person. This obviously was a very big problem for the Nepalese government, especially the more corrupt politicians, but instead of addressing corruption in any way, they decided to instead completely ban social media entirely, block their ears, and hope the problem goes away. But this, from the research that I've done, is a huge mistake because just about every single family, especially the impoverished ones, of which a quarter of the country is, almost every single person in Nepal relies on social media, not for information, not for news, not for entertainment, but literally to pay their bills, because so many people in Nepal cannot get a job, which means 1,000 people a day leave Nepal to find work in other countries like India, China, and all around the world, and they send money that they make overseas back to Nepal. This is so common that a full 26% of their entire economy consists of money earned overseas by people who could not find a job in Nepal that are sending it home to their families. So if you ban social media and the ability to connect to the internet, you just turn the money tap off. Now, no one can send money home. People can't talk to their family members overseas to organize money for food. Now, 26% of the entire population is starving. That's how you get a revolution. And boy, they got one. I understand that today I am dressed like a gay waiter or a gay barista or some sort of bad main character from a shitty romance novel who, if he existed in real life, would be arrested. But you should subscribe to the channel. We've almost hit 600,000 subscribers this year. I think we can do it. We're only 6,000 away. So smash the subscribe button, like, and, you know, I'll depending on the comments, I'll either dress like this more, I'll lean into it, or I'll do a complete 180. My fate is in your hands. Almost immediately after social media was banned in Nepal, people just took to the streets and just started burning down government buildings, breaking into politicians' homes, stealing shit, posting the inside of their houses onto TikTok to show that the wealth inequality was even worse than they previously thought it was. Imagine walking into a politician who claims to be a communist, who claims to represent you, and they have a 35-room mansion with gold on the walls while you have to rely on a brother who left the country to make borderline slavery wages for a Chinese company just so that you can have rice for your kid. I could not imagine someone filming inside an Australian politician's house and revealing that they're not some average Joe that's looking after the average Australian, but they actually are some kind of multi-millionaire corrupt elite living in a giant mansion that no one else he claims to represent would ever be able to afford. I could not imagine seeing that on social media because I don't have to. That happened in our country in real life when Friendly Geordies rented out John Barilaro's Airbnb and revealed him to be the owner of a multi-room, extremely extravagant mansion that he definitely earned from his modest wage as a politician.
Seeing as we're here though, I thought we'd give everyone a nice tour of this beautiful maison, just so everyone can really appreciate how spacious this place is and how much stuff Giovanni must have done that we don't even know about to earn it.
Now, unfortunately, Nepal's revolution was a lot less fun than our, I don't know, dunking on a corrupt liberal politician via YouTube video here in Australia. We kind of do things half-assed. Nepal goes all the way, all right? This is a full, actual violent revolution, and 19 protesters were killed by the military or riot police. You know, whoever did it, it's kind of murky, but those are the figures of the people that actually died during the protests at the start. But the protesters have actually won out. There's video footage of politicians evacuating via helicopter from the roofs of their mansions and other political strongholds that the protesters have stormed and lit alight. Obviously, I don't have any sympathy for these politicians, but fuck, that looks like a good time. That looks like a lot of fun. Hanging from a rope. Imagine one of them falls. I doubt any of the protesters would catch them. How long is that helicopter trip, you know? When I'm hanging onto a rope, fleeing protesters who want my head, I would be thinking I should have spent a lot less money on lobster because then I would probably be a little bit lighter. This would be easier for me to hold on to. I mean, look at that shit. That looks like straight out of a movie, man. That is insane. They're putting a lot of trust into this helicopter pilot, you know, because if I was in charge of that helicopter, not that I would fit in it, I'm way too big, my head would get decapitated by the rotor blades as I tried to get into the cockpit. But if I was the one that was driving that, I don't think I could help myself from dipping one of the politicians into the crowd like the politicians undoubtedly dip their crackers into caviar. I think that's why I'm not a helicopter pilot, and that's the only reason why. Here we've got footage of what I believe to be Nepalese parliament in flames, and people are just all around. I mean, This is just putting January 6th to shame, isn't it? All these other people were just wearing bear skins and taking selfies in there. The Nepalese were like, nah, let's light this shit on fire, baby. Not that people should have stormed the Capitol, or maybe they should. Whatever the correct governmental opinion is, that's the one that I hold. Let me in. I would like a visa. Violence is bad or good, depending on whatever opinion I should have, according to their government. But this is just insane. What a sight. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Imagine vlogging a revolution. Speaking of vlogging the revolution, check out this British guy who runs a vlog channel called We Hate the Cold. He was just coincidentally vlogging his way around the world. Not a big YouTuber, getting a decent amount of views. But then one day, on day one of the revolution, when they banned social media, he landed in Nepal. His plan was to get to Nepal, ship his motorbike to another country, and then meet up with it there. He landed in the middle of a revolution and has just been vlogging it and has now become like a folklore celebrity in Nepal because he's just running into fires, running at riot police with his GoPro and his vlog camera going, I don't know, I don't speak the language, I don't understand the politics at all, but I'm having fun in it. This is the type of man you get from a country raised on football riots, you know? He's like, fuck, I kind of understand how to do this. Let's go.
So many ambulances and fire rescues and things going off. I thought it was just because we're in the city. What are you protesting for?
We are protesting for the corrupt politicians and the flex that their kids do on social media. And we want social media to get unbanned again.
And that's why they banned it?
Yeah.
It's 3 days ago?
Yeah.
Literally, as soon as I came to...
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's horrible. 20 people have been
and there's a curfew now, so I need to get a place.
What a second welcome to Kathmandu.
Dude, imagine arriving in the middle of a fucking violent revolution. This reminds me of when I landed in London and I was staying in Whitechapel and it was in the middle of the race riots that were happening there. Day one, I get to Whitechapel and I go, oh, am I sure I landed in London? I thought this was Whitechapel. And then I get to my hotel and everyone starts messaging me going, hey man, please don't go outside today. There's going to be race riots in Whitechapel. They're planning on burning down mosques. And I went, okay, I'll stay in my bed. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't go out and vlog. But watching this guy's career explode, maybe that's what I should have done. No mosques were burnt down, which is great. But I am just saying, if it kicked off, it would have been good for my vlog career, which is not good. I'm just talking about the world that we live in, which, you know, has its ups and downs. Anyway, speaking of England and race riots, I am going to be touring there next month in October. And apparently it's just that time of year. It appears to be kicking off again. I will not be participating. However, I will be telling jokes. Come and see me live in 2025. I've got a bunch of shows across England, Scotland, and Ireland. And I'm doing Frankston. And then I'm done for the year. So come and see me, have a laugh. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I know. I heard 20 people, they got shot.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go to my place. You guys, please be safe. Okay. Nice to meet you.
I swear, no matter what type of chaotic situation is happening, you will always find a lone British backpacker using really impeccable manners. While people are getting shot in the head around him, he's like, oh, thank you very much. Would you like a cup of tea? I'm very scared, but I hope that you stay safe. I don't really speak the language. I don't understand what you're upset about, but I support you 100%, and I don't like whoever you're upset about. Airbnb has obviously been banned. Can I stay at your house, please? Honestly, this guy should have just asked one of the protesters if he could stay in one of the chateaus that they'd stolen from the politicians. I reckon they would let him. I think they'd be like, yeah, sure, we've got one of 52 bedrooms that like a minor politician had for some reason. We've got it all set up. It's actually lovely. You can use bedroom 65. It was previously used for concubines, but now it just has a nice king bed. For you. Beware, the mattress is very stained.
Can't quite process what I saw back there. I don't know whether the motorbikes were just set on fire or that was an IED. Someone told me that small motorbikes like my one, 125s, are often used as IEDs, and they look pretty blown up. But if they were blown up, they would have smashed to pieces, so they're probably set on fire. Definitely heard a gunshot. Anyway, I'm going to check in here.
Mate, it sounded a lot more than hearing a gunshot. It sounded like you heard a gunshot and then felt the bullet whiz past your head while you were riding what the authorities obviously would assume is an IED. Get the fuck out of there, man. Dude, anything for the views, hey? This is so good. I'm so happy that he's there. And you know what's crazy? This guy's channel has, excuse the pun, exploded, right? So look at this. Pre-Nepal, we scroll back a little bit, the guy was only getting about 5,000 views, 10,000 views, 6,000 views. You scroll up a little bit, 24 million views, and he's vlogging in the middle of a fucking revolution. Look, man, I'm no better than him. I would be doing that as well. What a brave vlogger. Doing it for the love of the game, dude. Here's the problem, though. What do you do after this? It's a really difficult niche to kind of back yourself into, isn't it? Is being revolutionary vlogger. I would say the only place where he could get, you know, even more views would be Gaza. And I think he'd last about 2 seconds because, unlike a lot of the Nepalese here, they don't like people with cameras over there, or hospitals for that matter. I just love how the Nepalese protesters have fully embraced this white guy who kind of has no idea what's happening, and he's almost become like the mascot of the whole thing. It's so good. Look how nice they are to him when he gets spotted. He's become a local celebrity because of his videos. It's so cool.
People are celebrating, smashing everything. And all of the people celebrating. I'm gonna go back to my motorcycle. This is Gen Z. And I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Gen Z? Did that guy say he's part of Gen Z? What the fuck are they doing to the young kids in Nepal? That guy looks 45. This country needs a revolution now. Now, as crazy as all of this is, it does get even more insane because now that the protests have kind of dissolved the government, all the government officials have run away. The prime minister has resigned and said he's going to cooperate with the protesters. The military has kind of assumed control, but are working with the protesters. And the protesters, because social media was banned, they all kind of migrated to Discord. And there's a Discord server where they just held elections on who should be the new leader of Nepal. On fucking Discord. Now, remember a couple of days ago, Discord said they're going to increase server size to 25 million people. And everyone was like, what the fuck do you need a server with 25 million people in it for? This violent revolution and then Discord re-elections. The Discord has gotten way too big for anyone to control. And during the elections, which the military were actively working with the Discord server and the moderators of that Discord server to pick an interim leader, right? So the military is meeting with the former leader of Nepal, the admins of a Discord server, and they've all agreed to pick a new leader from voting within a Discord server, and they were hosting just town halls, basically, where anyone could join in and speak. But obviously, it's Discord, so infiltrators from outside the country were coming in, and trolls from within Nepal were coming in and just jumping into the voice call and screaming into the microphone, which is something that I used to do when I was 16 on Ventrilo. But it wasn't during a revolution. It was just to piss my friends off while they tried to play Left 4 Dead 1. After a few days of confusion and the mods trying to calm the situation and control the Discord somewhat and to get everyone to actually cast a vote, they finally did pick someone. And this is from the New York Times here. Again, I'm not Nepalese. I don't really understand the culture. This is a developing situation. So I've just gone to what I think is the most trustworthy Western source, which is New York Times. And they say this about the Discord. The chat history of the server is a reflection of disorder and infighting. Anyone can join the channel, making it easily infiltrated by trolls or people from outside Nepal. Moderators have had to tamp down calls for violence, and because anyone can speak up, conversations are often a garbled mess of unidentifiable voices. The organizers have had to choose between supporting a freewheeling discussion and quickly agreeing on a representative to meet with the army. The Gen Z group is competing with groups outside the Discord server that are also jockeying for influence. This is a quote from the administrators during the voting. Please decide on a representative right now. We do not have time. But eventually, the Discord server did manage to vote who the new leader of Nepal would be, and they chose not a politician, not a member of the military, someone who has never been voted into a political position of any sort at all in Nepal. They chose a chief of justice and an anti-corruption advocate who has been retired for many years, a woman called Sushila Karki. Congratulations, Sushila, anti-corruption voice and new leader of Nepal, fully and officially recognized by the military and a big Discord server. What a universe we live in. This is insane. I hope she does a good job. She said that she did not want to be leader, that she did not put herself forward, but she's so beloved by all these Gen Z protesters because she is such an advocate and a voice that speaks out against the corruption that happens in Nepal, that they say she's the perfect choice. And look, I think we all know the best leader is often the person that isn't chasing power, that doesn't crave leadership, especially when you're trying to overturn a completely corrupt system that is just riddled with manipulators and liars. You almost can't trust any politician, no matter what they say. So you got to go with an outside force, someone who just talks about corruption and doesn't really want to be a leader. Maybe this is the person that can change Nepal's future. Prime Minister Sushila Karki, a former Chief Justice, said that she has accepted her new role reluctantly. Major political parties say the process is unconstitutional. Yeah, of course it's unconstitutional. I don't think Discord was around when they wrote the Constitution of Nepal. What was that? Which amendment is that? Do they have amendments or is that an American thing? I don't know anything about either of these two countries. Yeah, in case of violent revolution, hold a vote in a giant Discord server. Of course it's unconstitutional, but it seems like the Constitution wasn't working very well for the people of Nepal. I'm not here because of my personal wish, Ms. Karki said. People from the streets and everywhere said, give responsibility to Sushila, so I was compelled. To her supporters among the military and the youthful protest movement that overturned the previous government, that was the point. And there it is. That's the latest on Nepal and their revolution and the very first leader of a country that has ever been elected officially via Discord. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I can only hope the best for Nepal. And I hope that they figure out this corruption issue. And I hope that the poisonous politicians that force the people to do this learn from it and do better. Good luck to Nepal. I suppose if something else happens, I'll cover it. If it doesn't, come and see me live. loosespears.com. The show's great. Tickets are going quick. Except for Liverpool, I've still only sold 9 tickets in Liverpool. So if you live in Liverpool, or even if you don't, please buy some. Everywhere else is actually selling great. I don't know what's going on in Liverpool, but I would like for more to be happening. Like, subscribe, and see me live.